You.
I know.
Hey,
What's up?
welcome
What's up? Yeah.
to what episode is this, Thomas, at this point? Do you know?
I think 13, but don't quote me on it.
13, 14, 15, it doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah.
we're here, we're back. George is no longer with us. Rest in peace.
Wait,
Um,
no, he's not dead,
that's a
bro.
joke. That is a joke. George, come
Oh,
back next week.
sure. Yeah, he'll come back. He'll come back soon. He's
Yes.
partying all throughout, the eastern front of whatever, like whether it be
The
Kuwait,
Eastern Front of
Georgia,
whatever.
anywhere else, like just everywhere. He's partying
Yeah.
everywhere and nowhere.
No, no, no. He's having fun and he's also working hard. It's a great balance. That's something that
Yeah.
honestly like that's what I tell people all the time about me too. Is like that's if there was like one way to describe me, it's that where it's like I work a lot, but also you gotta like party sometimes, you know? You gotta
Really?
have this like balance of like two kind of extremes.
Okay.
Just because it's like, it's like if you work all day, it's like, do you really want to half-ass it? And also like if you go out at night, do you really want to half-ass that? Right? You feel me? You follow?
I kind of feel it, but at the same time, maybe it's just because I'm a very like homebody. I just don't leave the house. So like partying hard at night, like what does that mean? Like
Oh, you already know, man. Well, actually, last week, I unfortunately, I was not able to
yeah,
come to the podcast, and we had to cancel it. Of course, everyone was busy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
my excuse was that I had one of my friends actually turn 21.
Wait, really?
So
But dude, you're like
yes,
22, right?
yeah, I'm 23. We got
You're
some young
23?
people. We got some old people. Listen, you
Shit.
got to be friends with everyone, man. And it's
23-year-old over here.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting fucking old. But yeah, no, like a friend of mine was like, he turned 21, and then we're like, all right, like let's get a little wild. So we got a little wild, went to some place in New York City, got a lot of
Hmm.
drinks, too much to drink.
Hmm.
But it's like instead of just going to maybe like a bar and having a good time, it's like let's go to like five places. Let's do like five shots at each one, Like let's just go wild. Let's
But I like
have a
doing
little
that
fun.
too. I do that. I
Exactly.
do that. Yeah. But
It's
I
like you
don't like
gotta have
actively
fun.
do it. That's the thing.
But that's perfectly good because you have people who are like you would talk to people about this, they would be like, yeah, man, I'm just like that too. Oh my God, I love going out and like having so much fun and I go so hard. But they do it every single week. And I'm like,
Yeah, they do.
that kind of like
Like,
ruins the magic a little bit?
dude, I remember when you were in college, you're like
Oh
every
no.
week goes by and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna stop drinking alcohol from now on. And then it's
Hmm.
just like you said that every week. That was like the
Dude,
first thing I heard on Monday.
dude. College was, yeah. Freshman year, no, freshman and sophomore year were like pretty bad for me. But as soon as COVID hit, I definitely took it back a notch. When I was here in like NYU, New York City,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I definitely I took it back because I'm like I can't. First of all, especially back then, I had like no. China's alcohol was cheap and it was
Yeah.
affordable. We can go out, we can have fun. As soon as you
Yeah.
kind of come to New York, you're like, fuck, dude. Like I can't spend $20 on a whiskey sour. Like we're
Yeah,
low
but you're
unemployed
doing
here.
it wrong because that's just how they do in New York, right? If we were in New Jersey, I'm gonna fucking squat up to a bottle king. I'm
Oh
gonna go
yes.
ham on that shit, right? Dude, it's
Oh,
hilarious. Like when you really I don't wanna shit on my fellow Americans, but
please do.
like I remember distinctly when I was a kid and I live in New Jersey, right? Like we're both New Jersey boys.
Yes,
Like
you are.
every Friday there was a long ass line to the Bottle King. Like
Really?
everyone's alcoholic. Like people are coming out like bringing like cases of
Mm.
vodka and stuff. I'm like like is like, always every Friday always packed.
Nah, dude. I just think you're talented alcoholic, bro. Like that's
Okay,
just
okay, yeah, yeah, but like
that's.
I'm just like
Well, actually, I don't
yeah.
remember because I didn't really go to Bottle King myself. I would usually just like have other people buy me alcohol.
Yeah. Well,
I
what's
was one of those
happened for
guys.
me is like I don't go to Bottle King every week, right? But
Good.
the reason why I know this is because like coming out of my house, like you kind of to get to like another town next over,
Hmm.
there's like really only one road to go there. And that road just so happens to like be the road that Bottle King is on. So it
Mm,
was always blocked, like going in both directions. And then once you pass Bottle King, it's like clear, right? Yeah. So
damn, dude.
that's really how I knew. And they had a parking lot, but it wasn't that big. So I think that was like
Uh,
probably the issue. Like if they had a big parking lot, it wouldn't be an issue. But realistically, it just wasn't enough because people were like waiting
yeah,
on this road to just like peel into the parking lot and then park.
yeah. Nah, dude. People, especially from Jersey, man, we love alcohol. I think
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like every time I go back to Jersey, well, the thing is, like, there's not much to do, right? Like, it's the only thing you really
Really?
could do in Jersey. For me and all my friends, it's like what I've seen growing up was for fun, you would go to somebody's house, you would, either smoke some of the devil's kush or watch other people do it. In my case, you would drink, or you would just drive around and think about life. It's like we
Wow.
all go to Applebee's.
I sound really like I guess really homebody because I did none of that in high school, bro. like me and Jijo, we would scot up, watch anime, do our homework together, and then we would play video games for like 3 hours.
That is the life that I wish I had. But
Yeah.
no, like yeah, no, dude. Like when you wanted to hang out with anybody, for us, it was just yeah, like no one. I don't think I even like did anything inside. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, did I ever play video games? Like, did I go to one of my friends' houses during high school and play video games? I
Except
don't
for
think I did,
Minecraft.
except for my. I know, no, I did a lot like in my own house, by myself, just like with my other
Oh,
friends. Like online,
interesting.
yeah. But I never like went to somebody's house to like really play. I didn't like go to somebody's house watch a movie. I did have a
Wait,
lot of
what did you
yeah.
sorry. Like I didn't want to cut you off, but like
No, no,
what
no.
did you do? What did you do when you were like accepted NYU Shanghai? Like did you because everyone has a senioritis, right? Like especially like in
Yeah.
American high schools, like once you're done by April, like
Mhm.
everyone's done. They don't like everyone's checked out, you know what I mean? Like so what did you do? Did you even go to school?
No, I went to school because I was like, dude, my GPA is so dog shit. I have to like, I don't care about any.
Wait,
I understand. I'm in
really?
college. I had a bad GPA,
Interesting.
dude. I failed Spanish.
Huh.
People don't realize. Oh, I didn't fail. I got a D in Spanish, and I would never forget my teacher. I forgot her name, but my teacher freshman year, my Spanish teacher. I turned in some homework assignment, which, by the
Mhm.
way, in high school, like from freshman to senior year, I never did any homework at home. I always did it either before class or during my free
Really?
period.
You're one of
Never.
those kids. Okay.
I don't think I did any even studying at like yeah, fucking wild time. But anyways, I remember that I went to my Spanish teacher one time, freshman
Mhm.
year, and I handed in an assignment. And then she looked at it real quick in front of me, and then she turned it over because it was like 2 pages. It was like some like essay in Spanish. And she looked
Okay.
at it, and then she looked at me, and then she's like basura, or like trash in Spanish.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and and I remember she said that to me, and then she just went on about like how like oh like you really just don't give a fuck. Like it's very obvious. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. I just kind of brushed it off, and she ended up giving me a D. So I don't know
Ooh.
what changed really. I think just over time, I kind of realized like, yeah, I should probably start trying in life. as,
Huh.
as weird as that sounds. So then I kind of like switched up my grades. I started doing fairly well. But by the time senior year came, even after I got accepted to NYU, I was
Yeah.
just like, like I want to finish strong. I want to have a good GPA. I don't want to fuck off. So
So you
I
went
still studied.
opposite direction. Okay. That's
I
very
studied
interesting.
really hard. I was
Do
like,
you
it was great. I
do
love
you
it.
think that like when you have teachers, like what motivates you more? One that's like more, I guess, of a hard ass or someone that's like encouraging? Because like when you're saying this like Spanish person is like or Spanish teacher is like basura, like does that motivate you or just make you like, oh well fuck, I don't want to do this
No,
at all?
I just kind of brush it off. And that's always my attitude with teachers and professors is
Uh-huh.
I never was really inspired, nor was I really, I guess, discouraged by any teacher or professor I've ever had. I've had some really
Huh.
cool teachers and some
Interesting.
really like my AP US history teacher in high school, Puglisi. Shout out to him. He's 100% not listening to this, but
Yeah.
Puglisi, like I absolutely love that dude because a lot of the things he was teaching us were about not just about school, but about just like media, about politics in general, about how everyone's kind of an idiot. it's a lot of those lessons I love to learn, but at the same time, like I was never like, oh, he's inspiring me to become a better person. I never was like that, but I still I think he was one of the best, if not the best teacher I've ever had.
Yeah.
Before I went off to college, and then college too. I've had a lot of great professors, but none of them like really like fully inspired me to take a new course in life. If that makes sense. I don't know if it was
Hmm.
the same with you.
I have a large recollection of like both great and terrible experiences between high school and college for a variety of subjects from a variety of teachers. Interestingly, the most inspiring teachers are usually the ones that are more, for me at least, laid back
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of want to teach things that are also adjacent to whatever they're teaching. Like they have a mandatory curriculum, right? But they like want to teach things because they actually enjoy doing that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
worst teachers they had, the like for sure the worst are like this quote unquote the smartest people. Like you can be really smart, but you can't teach for beans. Like those types of teachers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
But did they ever
yeah.
discourage you though? Like I'm just
Oh,
sorry to
for
cut in.
sure. Definitely
Really?
the more smarter ones. So I think this affected my trajectory a little bit. Um, I don't know if I like should even be saying this. I think it's pretty public. Like Jijo knows all about this, and I like say it nowadays with like a lot of hindsight thinking and just kind of like, wow, this could change the trajectory of my life in some way that I can't even measure right now because of the butterfly effect, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
had a math teacher and up until like I guess the second year, so sophomore year, right, of high school, like I was just killing it in math. Um, where like the way that we do it is we have magnet schools, so basically we have like a lot of levels for math, and you start off with some level, right, that they fit you into, and then you can take
Right.
advancement quizzes to skip these math like grades, if you will, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit stupid to go and keep skipping though, because in the end of the day, all that matters is your GPA, and like you get to the point where you're doing much more work for no real benefit, right? Like that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I was very, very competitive, and because I saw that Jijo, the valedictorian of our school, was like in the math class, I just wanted to be in math class with him. But boy, was that a fucking mistake, man. Because what ended up happening is like you basically our math works this way where you start off with like pre-algebra. No, I would say maybe pre-calculus, and then you have geometry, and then you go to like geometry slash trig, and then you go to regular calculus, like calculus AB, calculus BC, then multivariable calculus, and then finally linear algebra, and then after that, like statistics, like not AP statistics, like really hard statistics, right? That was like the level of math. So I already skipped the first level for pre-calculus, went straight into geometry. That was my first semester, or rather first year, and I did very well in that class, and I made a lot of friends, like Zach. I don't know if you remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then like I was like, oh well, I want to hang out with Jijo, so I went and studied a lot during the summer, and like learned calculus in advance from another like summer school. Then I went to take my advancement quiz, and the teacher there is like the teacher that teaches all the other grades higher than geometry. Like there's only one teacher in our school that teaches all the other maths, and this is the guy that was like really discouraging. So, anyways, he basically came down to saying, okay, you got in, you got to skip Calc 1, you go straight to Calc 2, like Calc BC. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So we like do our Calc BC and stuff like that. And then I think the first quiz came along, and uh something went wrong. I don't know, like grade wise. And then like all I remember is just like I just like kept taking L's on some of these quizzes. And he came up to me one day. It's like, Thomas, so you ever heard the term buyer's remorse? That's what I get whenever I see you because you're in my class.
Oh,
And then he's like, yeah, you're gonna need like some special help here. So
oh
you're gonna have to like
no.
go to like come after school and stuff. And so I do that. And then I still like kind of suck ass because he's just not a great teacher, right? And then he got to the point where he was like, okay, so like you're not doing good in grades. Um, and I think we're gonna have to like call your parents because like obviously you're not working hard. And the joke is I was working hard, like all my homework is I'm like the only fucker who finishes all the homework and shit like that. So maybe I just sucked at this, or maybe the teacher was just not that great. And what ended up happening was like I was so sick and tired of him. I was like, okay, call my parents, like do it. I don't care. Like they know my
Do it,
situation.
pussy.
They see my ass studying. And then he like basically was trying to threaten me with calling my parents. But then it backfired on him because like at the end of the day, I'm working my ass off. I just suck at this, right? I think I sucked at it for a variety of reasons, but I also speculate that maybe the way he teaches was not like the best for me, I guess, right? So I couldn't
Mm.
really like reach my full potential. And then I left it like lasting remark on like how good I am at math. like,
Ah,
dude, like something like that kind of crushes you because it's kind of like, dude, I kind of did all this work just to kind of hang out, not only with my friend, but like to do more math. Um, and I kind of, even with all this work, it kind of amounts to nothing.
yeah.
That's really what happened. Yeah. And then I go to NYU Shanghai and everything was like a walk at the park.
All right.
And I was like, wait, what the
Listen, dude. We don't need to flex on everyone else in our school like that. All right.
Yeah.
That
And
calculus
then
class, never forget.
yeah. See, the thing is, he said that for like this math teacher said this like in the beginning, and then he would just like hate on my guts for the next like 3 years. So that's why I just didn't like math class. Like I'd really regret it, like doing the advancement. And I really regret even like having this teacher really like kind
Mm.
of dictate your self-worth on like how good you are on math. Like the joke is like I see there's a lot of genius kids in our school, like at least in Magnet there was, right? But at the same time, um, like you only kind of get better when you either know like you can get encouraged or like you kind of have some motivation, right? So
Yeah.
at least for me, like this teacher wasn't that great. Tried learning other ways, and then it was actually funny because that worked. But it was already too late because the teacher kind of already sees me as like a dumbass for the next 3 years.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
at the end of the day, a teacher if you feel as if you're not learning anything, even after 3 years, I would
Yeah.
say that's the teacher's fault, and you're working hard.
Yeah.
I would say that's more fault on the teacher because at the end of the day, he or she should make you want to learn more and consistently teach you more about whatever subject is at hand. It's those
Yeah.
two things. You should be learning, like actual like learning shit, and you should also be having I guess, a more fueled passion towards that subject. Those are the two biggest
Yeah.
things I would say. And I mean, if you got neither of those and you got kind of the opposite, I mean, shit, like that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. The thing is though, like when you take a step back, like there maybe it's just because like there's Khan Academy and all of these other like places to learn. You kind of realize like things are not as complicated as they are, so long as your foundation on how you learned maybe a concept is spoken in a way you understand it. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the foundation, anything that comes after like falls apart, right? So I think that's like the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway. Like it's kind of like Feynman technique. Feynman technique is like if you can explain it, then you pretty much know it, right? If you can explain it to like a PhD and you can explain it to a 5-year-old and anything in
You
between,
know,
that means you're pretty good at understanding this concept. And realistically, I think for maybe really smart people that like stick their heads in the higher level maths in this case, not everyone. I'm just saying like maybe like my teacher, right? He's like so stuck on being very technical that he can't explain it like a 5-year-old. And so
mm,
we're left with this gap because I know it wasn't just me that like I was doing bad, but I know that other people weren't quote unquote learning. They were just reading the textbook. Like when you get to that point, that's not like indicative of the teacher's ability anymore because they're not teaching.
right. And that's something that I've also felt too. It's there have been times where it's like even if I've worked my ass off, I still, I'm not gonna say I get a corresponding result, but there have been times where it's just you work so hard and you would expect to actually like not only understand the subject, but kind of almost enjoy it too, because now you understand it and now you've mastered it. But I mean, in life, I kind of had that point in college with my accounting professor, but it just sometimes I think it's more so on the teacher and how they're teaching.
Hmm.
And that's how I've always
Yeah.
viewed it. But I've never, like, once again, I've never been like super inspired by anything. Like I've never been like, hey, I'm gonna go and do accounting now. I'm gonna go and do so and so now. Maybe my real estate a little bit, but I was already kind of interested in that. But I don't know, man. Like I think it's different for everyone in terms of like, can you actually get passionate about something where maybe in your case, there might be some people who would be like, this professor doesn't like me, or this teacher doesn't like me. And
Yeah.
I'm working so hard, I'm actually gonna be more passionate about it just because I want to give him the biggest middle finger possible. There are some people who are built that way too.
So I had a
It's different for
period of
everyone.
that, right? But again, it just comes down to like it's too late for that. So it like literally would get to the point where I got better grades than other people, but because he
Yeah.
already labeled me as like the donkey, if you will, I still had to go to like after school with these other kids, even though I was like scoring higher than them.
Well, I honestly like couldn't you just be like, no, just like it's your life, isn't it?
Yes, but at the same time, dude, I'm Asian. Like I wanna do well.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
that's
It's kind of
uh,
like, well, if I'm gonna like do something after school, I might as well like do something, right? But
yeah.
it was pretty bad because the way we had our system was it wasn't actually after school, it was like during lunch. So I just
Mm.
ended up not eating.
That doesn't seem
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah, so like I kind of like asked the teacher like right after lunch if I could just eat lunch because I was in math tutoring for like an hour and I didn't get to eat because the teacher like didn't want me to eat because I had to do the math problems.
Mm. We yes,
Yeah.
we love child abuse, don't we?
Yeah, and thankfully
Actually,
most of them were very chill. They were just like, "Yeah, go ahead. Like it doesn't matter. Like the fact you didn't eat, that's a little bit fucked up."
it's
So
so
like other
it's
teachers were like recognizing this was an issue, but they kind of just like, "Okay, whatever. Like you just eat in my class. I don't really care."
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's okay. Then that's okay. As long as you got to eat though, because like if a teacher's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can't eat, you have to do the work. That is actually like borderline abusive. That's nah.
Well, that's the teacher. That's who he was. So it's all right,
Okay,
whatever. And he
it's in
was
the
smart.
past.
No doubt about it. He was a smart dude, but I don't think he was for me. I don't think he was a good teacher for me. Every other math teacher I've had has like helped me. This one kind of
Yeah,
demolished my self-confidence in math, bro. Like
yeah.
I don't think to this day I'm good at math. I could be good at math or I could be shit at math, but even if I was good at it, I don't believe that.
Right, right, right. No, yeah. It's just sometimes you just get. It doesn't matter how smart people are. They're being smart doesn't mean you're a good person. Number one, and it also doesn't mean that you're the best person to teach that subject.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very true. And I mean, like honestly, like dude, like especially like I said, like if he's like making you work rather than eat,
Yeah.
that's I don't know about that. That's really not good. Like
Yeah.
I,
It's
I don't
whatever,
know.
man. There
It's
was
in
a
the
lot of other
past,
great
I guess.
teachers in my school though that counterbalanced this toxicity. So
Good,
like the people that allowed me to eat lunch afterward, and then my
the
favorite
real ones.
like teacher was Miss Gerstein, the person who actually did the maker space in our school because we're a STEM school, right? So that was fun. Anyways, we have less than a minute. This was fun. This was like such a weird topic, but it's nice
Very weird
talking to you.
topic. From alcohol to wholesome teachers.
Yeah.
We yes, the classic. Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess until next week then.
Yep. Okay. See
All right.
you.